Well, those sound bites should give you the direction of the program this morning, the last edition for the week, the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. This is the pinnacle of all discussions. We take critical look at issues as it affect our dear nation, Nigeria, and also as it affect our dear state, Abia state. And of course, this morning, we're revisiting the plight of the 5,666 public secondary school teachers that were allegedly employed between 2018 and 2020 across Abia State. They are not so happy right now, and they are saying that they should be reabsorbed and also paid. But the government is saying that they were illegally employed. In fact, that got to the compulsory sack of the executive secretary of the Secondary Education Management Board. You heard one of them. The government has been meeting with them. The first meeting, the chief of staff represented the governor at the ICC, that's the International Conference Center in Umuahia here, and the governor met with those of them from Abia Central Senatorial District before he met with those of them from the others, the Abia South Senatorial District. And I heard that the governor will be meeting with those of them from the Abia North Senatorial District, I think today. But we're revisiting their plight this morning on the program, and of course a whole lot of questions that we are demanding answers to, and the teachers want to be clarified what is really happening, what will happen to them. We have joining us this morning the Honorable Commissioner for Information in Abia State, Chief John Okiyekalu. He's very much with me this morning in the studio. Good morning to you, Honorable
Good morning,
Commissioner.
Michael. Good morning, wonderful people of Abia State.
Well, it's good to have you on the platform this morning. A lot is happening, especially in the education sector. Not about the resumption of the student to school for their exit examination right now, but this time around concerning the employment, a very big employment saga in the education system. I don't know, you've heard the latest. I don't know what will be the immediate reaction of the government to what is happening presently.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Michael. The government, through the office of the Chief of Staff and the Honorable Commissioner for Education, is implementing the directive of the governor regarding this matter. The governor said, yes, we never employed these people, so there is no way we could have sacked them. But we understand that they are citizens of Abia State. Some of them have relevant qualifications to teach. If there are vacancies, especially in rural Abia, we should be able to absorb them, process their employment properly, and have them within the system. I don't know why the last man you played back his voice is angry with the government. The fact of the matter is that
he spoke to us after that meeting with the governor.
The meeting with the Chief of Staff, Dr. Elcibia
Yes, the
Maswele.
governor was represented.
Yes.
So.
You see, some of these things are lost in translation. The
Okay.
governor said, many of you were fleeced. They collected money from you to give you what is clearly a fake job now. Because what we were told at the beginning as a government was that some parent-teachers associations, especially for schools in rural Abia, have decided to hire some form of auxiliary teachers that they will be paying. I recall personally, I'm not talking about what was said on radio or written elsewhere. I recall personally that a secondary school in my community in Abreba was involved too. And I asked the school principal, how do you intend to pay these people? She said that they are going to, that the PTA will contribute and that they are going to be paying them from there. There was no time that it was said that these people were going to be civil servants hired by the state government. Somebody did something wrong. And that's why the governor is asking that those who were fleeced, those who paid 50,000, 100,000, 75,000 to get that job, should immediately present so that they will become witnesses against whoever did that thing. Whoever collected money from you. And by the way, it might not necessarily be the chief executive that did that. A lot of, from my own private investigation, a lot of that happened with junior level workers at SMB who collected whatever they collected from some people. But you cannot prosecute those people unless people come forward with evidence. They are ready to stand as witness against whoever they pay
Honorable
money.
Commissioner, an investigation was carried out by the government that led to the compulsory retirement of Mr. Lawrence Ogbonna, the Executive Secretary of the Secondary Education Management Board. Now, the argument here is that the same evidence gathered against him that led to his compulsory retirement should be used to prosecute him at the court of law.
There are two levels of evidence. There are those that are usable in law.
Okay.
And there are those that you can use for administrative purposes. For instance, I can't take you to court simply because you came late.
Okay.
To work, right?
All
but
right.
that can form a basis for me to say your services are no longer required. Do you understand? Now, for you to go to court and prosecute somebody for a criminal offense, there has to be preponderance of evidence. The onus of proof, the burden of proof is much higher than the burden of proof you require to take administrative measures. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Fine. The law is clear that whoever alleges must prove. In which case, if the government is alleging in that matter, the government must provide evidence. Witnesses must come forward. Financial records will have to be available. For instance, some of them said they transferred money. That's evidence. You transferred money to somebody. You can come forward and say, I transferred money to John Oki Carlo for the purpose of securing that employment. And you bring your bank statement, stand in the witness box and make that statement. No judge will ignore that. So the weight of evidence required for prosecution is not the same with the weight required for you to take certain administrative measures. What we have taken constitutes or come within the realm of administrative measure taken to deal with a situation. Beyond that, if you are looking for criminal prosecution, you must seek the weight of evidence that aligns with the burden of proof required in a criminal matter. That's what we don't have yet, and that's what we are calling on Abians to help us get. But again, our benevolent and people-loving governor has given a window. That window should be appreciated by all.
Which is?
If you are qualified, and the school where you were teaching, for those of them that said I was recruited, I've been teaching since, believe that you are qualified to do that job, the school should write the Commissioner for Education that we require your services, submit the relevant documentation in terms of qualification to do that job.
So it's more like going back to the same process.
The governor is saying for such people, I will take them back
to reabsorb them.
Sure, and then a proper waiver will be given. Mike, there were some 180 something persons who properly obtained employment waivers. That includes about 21 teachers in my community, Abia, in Ohafia local government. They have been receiving their salary to date because they were employed properly.
The waiver given by the government, by the governor, then was about 187 persons to be employed
for 2 years. Within 2 years.
Okay.
See, they reviewed from 2018 to 2020.
But what is on ground now is what will be the plight of what will be the end. We want to see the end to this now. The total of 5,666 of them that have worked for several months without payment because their name, according to the government, wasn't properly registered.
It is not according to the government. It is factual. They know that because I saw one of the employment letters issued to them. The person that issued that letter said subject to availability of waiver.
Okay.
That's the clause that person smartly inserted. You know, the way you do your contract with MTN, Glo, and so on. Yes. And then they will say you should read notification. You won't read. You are looking at what you want to see. But at the end of that notification, the man smartly says subject to waiver. That means he knows that as at that time he didn't have the waiver to employ you. So I don't know how anybody can commence a successful process, legal or otherwise, on the basis of that, because that person is already stopped in law by the mere existence of that caveat at the end of that employment notification letter.
Okay. All right. I would like to throw the lines also open early so that you can respond to some of the questions from some of these teachers this morning. I believe you're ready for them because they have so many questions concerning what will be their fate. And
I am definitely ready to see that.
Right.
To see that as many of them as possible go through the process and are properly employed, and they are earning wages and they are teaching properly. That's what I'm ready for. If it is whether I am ready for banters,
not banters. We don't do banters here on
exactly.
Blue FM, so it's
for
very
me,
important.
I like solutions, and the solution, the pathway has been provided by the government through Dr. ACB Abasere. The pathway is something that is very simple that nobody ordinarily should worry about. Okay, you said you are a qualified teacher. Okay, you said you were affected. Okay, you now know that somebody more or less duped you. But the government is saying, come, my brother, my sister, show me your certificate. Show me the school that you are working. Can that school write a letter and say, we need you? And the reason we need you is this. If they do that, you will come back, we will issue a proper waiver. It doesn't matter if they are 5,000 or 2,000 or 100. We will issue a proper waiver, and that process is in place. It's ongoing. The chief of staff to the governor has spoken to the the teachers from the 3 senatorial zones, and I will encourage all our people that are affected. In fact, those of them affected from my community, they've already brought letters
to you.
Yes. So that I can forward to my colleague, the Honorable Commissioner for Education. People should look for solution and not look for argument.
Interesting. Well, I would like to take you on the issue of teachers in Abia State, if we have enough teachers to teach the students in the state, but that will be after taking some calls. 0808-182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you very much.
What's your name?
I'm Mr. Vincent from Umaya.
Can you move away from your radio set, please? Very important.
Okay, I've done that.
All right.
I'm Mr. Vincent from Umaya.
All right, you're welcome, Mr. Vincent.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, let me say that I'm one of the disengaged teachers employed by Abia State government through Secondary Education Management Board.
Okay.
Before I say something, let me thank the Abia State government for creating a platform where they have been meeting teachers, the affected teachers, within the week. It shows that other state government, hears the cries of our people, especially as it affects the teachers.
Okay.
Now, let me say that.
Quickly.
Let me say that I as a person, if you ask me, I was really employed because the employment issue of a thing was advertised.
Where did you get the advert? Where did you see that advert?
At the notice board of Secondary Education Management Board, their headquarters at the back of behind the Big High School mine.
Okay.
That was where I got the notice.
So you've been affected with those that were told to go home and they were not duly employed by the Secondary Education Management Board.
Of course.
Okay, interesting. Have you presented the evidence needed by the government to prosecute the retired Secondary Education Management Board Executive Secretary?
What kind of evidence is government asking for? You see, for people like us, we are law-abiding citizens, okay? When this employment of a thing came up, I as a person, I went to ACND to regularize my employment offer. And I started work upon resumption September 16th, should be 2019, okay, 2019. And by March, thereabouts, okay, when we ended school abruptly because of the COVID-19 pandemic of a thing, now the government came up to say that there was no waiver given to us. So we have been pleading with them to see reasons with us. I know some of my colleagues.
Did you attend that meeting that was organized by the government?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, let me commend the chief of staff, ACB Abazere. He spoke eloquently well and defended the educational policies of the government, because I know the governor is education friendly. Okay. So he spoke eloquently well and gave us hope In fact, he consoled us that something, must be done to see how government, can, work.
All right, I will have to let you go now. So, what is stopping you from providing the evidence required by the government? Because the government is saying that you need to present some evidence that are needed for the prosecution of the man in question.
Okay, now, so let me tell you something. I never paid money to anybody. My appointment was just on merit. I saw the advertisement, I applied for it, and I got it. I never gave money to anybody. So what kind of evidence am I giving out to the executive secretary? The man didn't offend me. I never knew that government never, gave out whoever for it. Okay? But what I'm saying is this. If government, maybe in their own capacity, sees that the wage bill of, reabsorbing these teachers is much, I mean, they should please at least pay us for the one we have done. Teachers,
right.
We need to be, recognized in the society. This is just my prayer. They should just pay us and let us be. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Commissioner, there is a case there.
Yeah,
He
thank
said
you very
he
much,
didn't pay anyone.
Vincent. Yeah,
Yes, Vincent.
he spoke sincerely, judging from his tone and everything. I sympathize with Vincent and others like him. Maybe they are victims of institutional gaps.
Okay.
Number one, the committee that came up with the recommendation on regarding the 5,000 plus was set up in January, not before, not March, not after COVID-19. And the primary thing was not the wage bill. It is to follow the process. Do you understand? Now, you started by asking me, are there gaps, teaching gaps in our school? And
Yes.
my answer is, I strongly believe there are, especially rural Abia. What people do is, they say they want to go to Isukwato and teach. You give them a job. They wango their way. Wango is in quotes because that's our street language in Aba.
Okay.
They wango their way back to Moya or Aba. And then they leave gaps in rural schools. So you find that when you go to some of those rural schools, you will not see enough teachers. In fact, that was what moved the governor to give special concession for us in Abreba to employ indigenes of Abreba who are willing to reside in Abreba and teach. And that system has worked for us. All those teachers, none of them moved to Aba or Moya. The community is aware that the governor hired them to teach in schools. And they were mostly science-based, and they were going to teach in our secondary schools in Abia, and it has worked. So there are likely to be gaps in rural Abia. What the government is saying is, Mr. Vincent, present your documents to the school where you were teaching.
Okay.
Let the principal of that school write a letter to the Commissioner for Education saying, I need Mr. Vincent to teach English or mathematics. I don't have an alternative. I don't have any other person that can do what Mr. Vincent is doing.
And if Mr. Vincent meets the requirements
And Mr.
needed.
Vincent meets the requirement. If that is done, the Commissioner for Education will compile the name of Mr. Vincent and others who were recommended or who would have been recommended from the head teacher, and present it to the chief of staff, who will in turn get the required waiver from the governor.
Okay.
That will regularize Mr. Vincent's employment. You see, if you are talking about payment for work already done, whatever is done in illegality is a nullity. You can't put something on nothing. The management of SCMB, the management of SCMB was aware at the time that for you to employ, you need a waiver.
But they are claiming that they've been working. So more like a plea now to the government.
Do you
that
understand
they should.
me?
I'm getting you, Honorable Commissioner.
If you put something on nothing, it doesn't stand. It's like somebody coming to Flu FM every morning to clean this place, and he's not employed by Flu FM. And then suddenly he says, I've been cleaning this place for the past 20 months. Flu FM pay me. What will you do in that case? Mike, answer me.
I'm a journalist. I'm only putting the questions there to you.
Okay, so you are the question putter. I mean, I'm the question. Mike, we are both journalists, so don't use this.
I'm interviewing you here, Honorable
But that is exactly the situation we find ourselves. That's my point.
Okay.
A situation where, yes, they may have been doing this work, at least a reasonable number of them, but it was on the basis of an illegality.
Okay.
They cannot come back to the same government and say pay us. If anything, they should go to SCMB and say pay us. But even SCMB might have their own, because they might raise the issue of the caveat they gave in their notification. They added it there. I will forward a copy of their caveat to you.
Okay.
That says there is no, it's subject to waiver.
Okay, let's get more reactions. Hello, good morning to you. I think I lost that. Good morning to you. Hello, you're live on radio. Good morning. Welcome to the platform. Okay, so it seems we have issues with the network this morning. Good morning to you.
Michael, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner of Information.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Uwakwe Chidebe. I'm calling from Omaha here.
You're welcome, Uwakwe Chidebe.
Thank you. My Honorable Commissioner, please, as regards to what you said regarding to those that were asked to go home, if I may ask, don't you think if they should submit their documents to the principal of such a school, and if that same principal have an interest for one or two persons that has to do with him or her, he may try to keep that person's document behind and bring up another person's document and tell them you were employed and you were engaged and all the rest of them. And by so doing, the rightful person that is supposed to occupy that position, even if government finally gives that appointment to the person because of the vacancy that they get, don't you think, sir, that some of those principals may want to manipulate that particular directive of the government, because as much as their name was once in education board and was probably one way or the other removed as a result of this, now their name is nowhere. It's a fresh appointment. So most of these principals who want to manipulate it, is there no other way that this thing can be done, that it will be checkmated by the government directly without those principals being involved on it? Because a lot of them want to change those people's names.
All right,
people that are supposed to occupy it may not likely get it.
Thank you, Wakwe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wakwe. It's a human process, and in every human system and process, there are certain things you follow. Look, Wakwe, if the principal does not want you, you shouldn't go to that school. The truth of the matter is that finally you will have to, even if we employ you from here, it is that place that we're employing you to. Is it not so? Because that is the place making the request for a teacher. If the principal does not want you, obviously it means that the principal found out that you are not good enough, or you have bad character, or you were fondling female students, or you were taking all kinds of COVID-19 fees from the female students. So the principal must have, nobody throws away a good teacher. Nobody. If you listen to Vincent, you will know that Vincent is a good teacher. His calmness is enough to show me that he's a good. I'm using him as a case study. The way he spoke, he had all his faculties in place. Any principal that rejects somebody like Vincent obviously does not know what he or she wants. Now, if you now say centralize it, let everybody come to a certain office, maybe Minister of Information or Minister of Education or the Office of the Chief of Staff, there will also be subjective bias because there are human beings involved. Because I have brothers and sisters that also want to teach, so why wouldn't I also prioritize them? So whether there will be the existence of subjective bias, it is there, but to what level will you see it? Remember, these head teachers, by forwarding those names, have turned themselves into referees for those people. I hope you know that.
Okay, they are more like the gatekeepers.
Yeah, they are saying, I want this person. This person is good. That's why he or she is a head teacher. The reference of a head teacher is superior to the reference of a president in terms of hiring a teacher.
Okay. Hello, good morning to you. 0808-182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. It's the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9. Good morning to you. Move away from your radio set, please.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Commission.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, it's Alvan. I'm calling you from London.
You're welcome, Alvan.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one for the disengaged teacher. But I think I commend the government for ensuring that the right thing is done. Michael, there are procedures for employment. I think there should be thorough screening. If you apply for a job, does it give you automatic employment for the job? There should be screening. There should be other to ascertain. And you don't just go about employing 5,000 teachers. What are the subject areas the teachers are needed? Because when we say we don't have teachers, we're talking about a specific area. If you go to Abia State University, go to the education department, look at how many students, doing mathematics, chemistry, physics. These are science subjects we require teachers. It's not about employing 2,000 teachers that read government or social studies. I don't think it's the right thing to do. So they should follow the right steps so that these things should be if you don't correct these things, how are you promoting excellence? People will not breathe again. All they need to do is just pay money and they'll be given employment. I don't think it's necessary. We are not happy that those teachers was leaving their job, but the right thing should be done.
Okay.
That's my own contribution.
Thank you for your
very
contribution.
much.
There is a question here, Honorable Commissioner, on the SMS line. The question is, how come nobody observed this huge anomaly before now? And it's coming from Ugona in Umuahia. He says, job racketeering and ghost worker syndrome are the twin evils bedeviling the workforce in Abia State. How come nobody observed this huge anomaly before now? 5,000 plus workers employed without following due process leaves much to be desired. Let the law run its full cycle in this regard. That's coming from Ugona.
Ugona, thank you very much for asking that question. The fact is that the government was told that these are PTA teachers that will not be paid by the state government. That's what the authorities at SCMB informed the government. They told us
when
that
questions were asked.
Yes. You are hiring what for? And they said these are PTA teachers. You are not going to pay. The schools, the Parent Teachers Association of the schools will pay. And we said, okay, to God be the glory.
And
then suddenly the agitation started that they are no longer PTA teachers, they should be government teachers. They are government teachers. We were told that we were going to be converted to government teachers. Others are receiving salary we are not receiving from the PTAs. They are paying us pittance. Meanwhile, the people who employed us told us that within so and so time they will confirm us and then we become government teachers. Of course, there may have been fraudulent intentions in arriving at that point, but the fact is that the government was genuinely informed that they were PTA teachers, and indeed we didn't know the numbers involved. It was the inquiry that threw up the numbers for us to see the extent of the melee. But the fact is that it was a genuine reason, which was PTA teachers, and it's done all over the world. Even in US, in UK, you see those specialist teachers hired by Parents Teachers Association to bridge gaps where they exist. So I'm not sure there is anything fundamentally wrong with that, apart from the fact that, okay, these people were misled, number one.
Okay.
Secondly, they were fleeced. Many of them were fleeced. Money was collected. And let me use this opportunity to tell the good people of Abia State, whenever you are looking for a job and somebody wants money from you, please don't do that job. Don't go forward. Because we cannot collect money from somebody who is looking for a means of livelihood.
But what if we are sure that you can only get that job by going through
walk
the back
away,
door,
walk
pay
away,
for the person?
walk away. Vincent said he didn't give anybody money, but I'm very sure that some people gave money. Let me give you a classical story.
Okay.
A friend of mine, the wife was asking for a teaching appointment. The friend brought the wife to me in the village, and I said, okay, whenever there is the opportunity, I will submit them, and then they will wait. While they were waiting for me, the wife saw the opportunity somewhere else. They collected 200,000 naira from my friend, gave the wife employment. Then when it was time to compile list of teachers that will handle schools in Abreba, I called my friend to say, what is that your wife's full name? Let me check if it is in the list given to me by the head teachers from Abreba. He said, no, her name is not there. Don't worry, she already has a job. I said, how did that happen? He said she paid somebody and somebody gave her a job. I said, no, add your wife's name. That job must be illegal unless it is PTA teacher. He said yes, that's what they called it, but that they said after 6 months that they will become school teachers. I said no. Add your wife's name. Tell the head teacher in Abreba, and I know the high school Abreba, to add your wife's name. He refused to. And the wife is among those affected now. Do you understand that? Who are you going to blame? The wife pressured the husband to give the money, and of course, as a good and loving husband,
as much as 200,000 naira was paid to get
I am
some of the slots given.
that.
Interesting. All right. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning,
Yes,
Michael.
you're welcome to the platform.
Yes. Good morning, my honorable commissioner, Chief Jero Kesa.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Comrade Wanko Henry Ndubisi. I'm representing from Ugumba Autonomous Community in Bende local government area of Abia State, sir.
You're welcome, comrade.
All right, sir. So I want to commend our amiable governor for coordinating a meeting between the
Oh, we lost that. All right. Do call back if you can. Hello, good morning to you.
God bless you, my man.
You're welcome, Chief Awolo Wonkwodede.
My own personal people. God bless you. Olobo. Chifawolo won't quoted. Umuwaga Musi. He cannot zobo. Yeah, in the state. And I remain called a spread the revolution. Our honorable commissioner information. You're welcome.
Can you change your location, Chief, so that we can hear you?
I mean,
All right, it's okay. Go on.
Honorable commissioner, you're welcome.
Nwanne mmadụ ele otu ndị obo owu nọ.
Obo, the ma, I'm not the maker you came back.
Ihe ahụ wa afọ mụrụ the best governor.
I'm not the man, and what the career commissioner for information now. The answer is the career anymore.
Unu nwere onye unu nwere n'Imo dịkwa mma o. Unu leba ya anya ọ dịkwa mma, ama m onye ọwụ ọma ọrụ. He's good at his job.
I want to be commissioner.
Nwanne.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. Go on with your contribution, Chief.
Let me put it to us. The commissioner said this. Inequality has been. So those that are employed in that manner should forget about it. Accept the plea. They should plead for the government to take them in again. And should be legally put. I want to plead. I love other state governor. With passion, I love him. And I want him to follow it and make sure that these frustrated ones, around 5,000, are employed.
All right, Chief. Just wrap up a thought. I think we have to let you go because of the network. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ugonna Eric.
You're welcome, Ugonna.
Thank you. Thanks. You've actually read one of the text messages I sent today.
All right.
Good morning, Commissioner for Information.
Ugonna, good morning. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
God bless you, my brother.
Yeah. I want to know, the employment platform of your state, of this state, is it not automated? And then what are the watertight security measures put in place to forestall some of these things reoccurring? I was a part of those who did that in Lagos State when I was in the banking sector. We were employed part-time by state government of Lagos, and we did a very beautiful thing for them that, is second to none in the state, in the nation today. Please invite your IT experts, both in terms of verification, ghost workers, weeding off of whatever, and such like employment opportunity. I am expert in certain fields. So that we can put heads together and move this state forward. I think there is somewhere, somehow, that some people are benefiting unduly from what is not real. So that when we make employment, we know it is legitimate. And we will not have this issue of somebody being a worker and is not paid, he doesn't know his stand, and 6 months later, every year, and we begin to have issues to process fully employed or not. So can we find a way of bettering our lot through use of technology, and I'll be willing to partner with such agencies so that we'll move forward in this state. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
I agree with you, Ugonna, that as much as possible we should deploy technology to improve processes and systems in our state. It is desirable, and I thank God that we have people like Ugonna, young persons who can drive this better than the older generation like myself. But the fact is that accountants know this. no matter how good a system is, once there is teaming and leading, that system will be broken. What do I mean by teaming and leading? When those who are supposed to act as gatekeepers, those who are supposed to make the inputs that will produce the right output connive with each other, they can break every system. If you like, put all the wonderful processes on earth in place. Once there is teaming and leading, the human element has failed, and then the system will fail. So while we are looking at putting technology to work for us in Abia State, we should also now start talking to ourselves. Some of these things we do to get rich quick, they are not right. They are not good. I don't know who has benefited from ill-gotten wealth, because more often than not, I see these people at old age. No matter how much they stole while they were in government, no matter how much they fleeced the people, they all look like every other person. Okay. And it is important for us to know that, like my people will say in Abia, there is nothing you pick from your teeth that will fill your stomach. Our people must learn that the most important element in a workplace is the human element. For what happened at SCMB to happen, there must have been teaming and leading. People work together. Those who should audit others, check others, fail to do that. And that's because all of them benefited one way or another. I understand that at some point there were even some politicians that were asked to submit names for the PTA employment. No, don't worry. The same presentation was made to me, John Okikalo, and I said I will not. I said if I need a teaching job, I will go to the governor, because that is the process. The same thing happened with local government employment. The governor approved 180, and at the end of the day, we saw more than 2,000. Okay. I am telling you that 180 was approved for teaching, and we have ended up with 5,000.
All right, maybe some other day we will look at how we can plug some of these porous baskets, especially as far as job. Okay, as far as job employment is concerned in Abia State. All right, I want to really appreciate your time this morning, Honorable Commissioner. I will have to excuse you as you're exiting for another program coming up by 11 o'clock. But then the program continues. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, for information. Chief
Thank
John
you for
Okiyika.
having me, Michael. Thank
You're welcome.
you, Flow FM. Thank you, wonderful people of Abia State. I want to assure you that the governor of Abia State, Dr. Kezi Ikpazo, is concerned about the welfare of every Abian. Even with this challenge, he is doing the needful. If you have the requisite qualifications, please follow the process. I am certain that based on the assurance from his chief of staff and based on the assurance given by the governor himself during the same program that you ran that clip from, we will make sure that as many as are qualified are properly now recruited, especially if they are required by rural schools.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Well, he's exiting for another program. The program will also be here live on Flow 94.9 FM, Abia State COVID-19 update. The signals will be emanating from a sister radio station today. But let's keep our calls and the comments and contributions coming just before we wrap up the program, the platform this morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is Mr. Johnson.
All right, you're welcome, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, I want to say this. We are in Abia State, and I want to say that the government of Abia State claims to be unaware of the recruitment of over 5,000 people who have already worked for over 6 months now. Now, my question is, now that the commissioner is in the studio, is the government of Abia State also aware that the local government staff have not received their minimum wage of 10,000 naira ever since January this?
I can hear you. Go on, please.
Did you get my question, sir? Hello? Did you get my question? The government of Abia State, are they also unaware that local government staff have not received the minimum wage of 10,000 naira up to this moment? Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your question. Unfortunately, he stepped out of the studio already. I mentioned that earlier for another program coming up on a sister radio station by 10 o'clock or by 11 o'clock rather. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome, Radio Senator.
Yeah, this is Radio Senator calling from Government College, Omuaya.
You're welcome.
Please, in terms of that job, like a hearing, I think I commented on that. Continue pleading with the state government, please. They should absorb all those of them who have educational qualifications. Those who did education, they should absorb them. But the truth still remains that employment was illegal. Let us be sincere. There was no advertisement, and which will enable people to apply, just as how they normally do. The interview was only done by the SCMB staff, which is wrong. The employment opportunity that comes in Abia State, for the Ministry of Education, the Pension Board, and the rest of them must be there. That will equip, that will make it solid and official and legal. So, but when you talk about whether the school system in Abia State needs staff, it's true, because the last employment that took place was under Odus Okalo, that is 2006. And since then, there have not been employment up to this time. So the system requires a huge number of staff, even up to 10,000. But if they could absorb from that 5,000, those of them who did the education, I think it will really go a long way to really create a personnel in the school system in Abia State.
All right.
And they should be ready to pay them as that when due. Thank you.
All right. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Yes, you're welcome.
Michael, I wanted to ask the commissioner for some questions, but he left. I wanted to ask him, when someone asked him a question, when did the state government get to know about this employment scam of the thing? He was not able to answer it. Well, that one is right. Michael, one thing is to reintegrate the teachers, and another is to pay them. Can they be able to pay the teachers? Because teachers, those teachers that have been working since, they are owing them backlog of salaries. I don't know. They are just using us and be playing. Okay, the other day they told us, they announced that those teachers that they scam, they should bring evidence why they have sacked the SCMB boss. On what evidence did they use to start? Did they have? I believe that
your last question has been addressed by the commissioner also when he was in the studio.
He did not answer the question very well. What evidence they have that wanted them to start the SCMB boss? That's the question. They do not have evidence. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yes, that's the evidence. We do not have the evidence. They are just confused. They don't know what to do. That's just it. If my advice to the teachers, if I were them, I would not even bother to.
It's good highlighting the problems. Now, what we're after is finding a lasting solution to situations like this.
That's what I want to tell the teachers. If I were them, I would not even bother coming to take the job again. I will go and look for better business and do.
All right.
I will look for good business to do, because those people, they are just using us and in this state.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mike.
Yes, I'll take this and we'll wrap up the program this morning. Hello, you're welcome. What's your name?
All right, I'm happy to be your last caller. I'm Mr. Swaggo Princewell, calling from here in Omona Chokro.
You're welcome, Mr. Princewell.
Mike, my thanks goes to Abia State government, their governor, and all commissioners in Abia State for them to have given these people an olive branch. Such a thing has happened in my state, Imo State, some 5 years ago. About 10,000 people who were being employed under Ikedo Hakim. And the following governor, being Reabsorb, terminated their appointment. And up to today, nothing happened. But in Abia State, they were telling them follow the rightful process. That of Imo State, we follow the full process. But due to the timing, they were being employed within 6 months of their Hakim's administration. So for now, I'm begging other people, most importantly the citizens, let them follow the decision of the governor and his state. I believe they have given them an olive branch. Let them follow that olive branch.
All right.
Equally, such a thing had happened in civil defense, federal government. 6 years ago, some people were being employed in civil defense, but due to National Assembly didn't approve it, so that appointment were being squashed. So let them take it. It's part of life. That's my thing. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's how far we can go this morning on the program. We do appreciate your time and also your contribution. So definitely we will keep you up to date, especially as far as this particular issue is concerned. The teachers, those of them 5,666. And of course, we understand that those from Abia North Senatorial District will meet the Chief of Staff to the Governor. Now, of course, the Chief of Staff is representing the Governor today at the International Conference Center. So we'll also bring you up to speed on what is happening there. Thank you very much for being part of the platform. The program returns on Monday, which will be another edition for the week. Many thanks to the guest, Honorable Commissioner for Information, Chief John Okiyikalu, and also many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze. Catch the video of this program later on today on Flow FM TV. And many thanks to the videographer, Stanley. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. My name is Michael Oni.